I'm just gonna say it. I love those girls that always have a new man. Like, I know society likes to shame women who move on really quickly, but if one man doesn't work, get a new one. I read that in the Bible. Like, good for you, cousin.
This video right here is a prime example of how whole culture continues to be popularized by influencers, content creators, celebrities, artists. It is oftentimes painted and promoted as the sophisticated, cosmopolitan, chic thing to do. It's one of the things that the cool, the cutting edge, the innovative, the sexy, the smartest, the most intellectual women behave in this manner. They behave in a manner that treats men like bags or purses that they can just change with the weather or with the outfit, that sees men as disposable. Whereas hoes used to pretty much be put in a category like those are the women that you sleep with at night that you really keep away from society. Now it's become mainstream culture and it's being positioned as something that the coolest and the most trendy women do. And we see it being promoted and pushed through influencers, through artists. And that is my big problem with it, because they've rebranded a kind of behavior that was previously only associated with women who were involved in a very dangerous lifestyle. And now they're trying to pretend like it's something healthy and normal and smart and savvy, and it's really not. Now, as we see, she has over 450,000 likes, over 3,000 comments, over 25,000 saves. And so there obviously was a lot of support with respect to her point of view. Now let's look at some of the top comments, right? Now this one here, it has over 11,000 likes. It says, "Girl, I found a book, Hidden Manifestation, like a week ago. It shifted my mindset." Now let's look at some of the replies. It says, "I literally screamed next, and then a new one shows up in 2 weeks and always better than the last." Another one, "I read it a few days ago. I'm still shocked." And so it looks like we're having some tarot card terrorism here, y'all. I broke this down a while back on how a woman liked to use tarot cards and spirituality to basically try to control, manipulate men. You see this woman who basically admits to using witchcraft to get the men that she wants, to try to control them and ultimately serve her needs. And so already that's incredibly problematic. That has 11,000 likes. There's this one, another one, over 21,000 likes. This is Lori Harvey vibes. Okay. Add J-Lo to the list. Yup. Okay. This one says, "They are always happy too." And then Flossie Baby, the creator, responds, "Cause they don't take life too seriously." Another one over here says, "My best friend is like this. She is literally never single and she's not boy crazy or anything. It's just the card she was dealt." And so you guys get the picture. The ladies love this. They love the idea of women being able to change a man. They can change their bag and get men to serve their needs, the romantic desires. And then as soon as the man stops serving them, then they get rid of him and get a new one. Now, there are a ton of things that are wrong with this ideology. And while I can't address every single problem, I want to highlight a few things. First of all, she mentions that women are often shamed for changing partners. I actually disagree with her. I think certainly in modern culture, women are incentivized to hoe around, to sleep around, and to change partners. They are incentivized by being paid, by being promoted in media, by being popularized via the music industry. If we think of some of the top Black female recording artists, Meg Thee Stallion, Glorilla, Cardi B, Sukihana, women of color, they all have a very hoish persona. Sexy Red, all of these are women who have made money off of being hoes or off of promoting a similar lifestyle. And so I disagree. I think one of the reasons this whole lifestyle is so popular among women today is because it is often associated with money, because we see some of the richest women who have the luxury and the nice houses and cars and weaves and the latest makeup tricks and the best outfits. We see them promoting this lifestyle. So I disagree completely and totally. Completely and totally. Women are incentivized to be hoes. They are paid to be hoes. They are paid handsomely to be hoes, and they're oftentimes put on stages and platforms to influence a generation of women into whoredom. So I disagree. I don't think that's right at all. Women have removed They have removed all shame associated with hoeing around or having a high body count. And her post is a prime example. She has a lot of women who support her and her ideology of changing men like you change purses. But that was not the case. You wouldn't have women like the OnlyFans model who recently went viral for sleeping with 100 men in 24 hours. And then she upped her challenge and decided that she wanted to sleep with 1,000 men in one day. Women don't do that and promote it because they feel ashamed. They do that because they get incentivized, because they get money. And so I have to disagree with her. Secondly, she said this was in the Bible. I have no idea what version of Bible that she reads or doesn't read. There is not one verse that speaks to, if you don't like a man, just get a new one. If anything, there are actually verses that condemn heavily sexual immorality, fornication, and anything even reflecting that. So this version of Christianity today, I see being promoted where women get to wear crosses and do whatever they want, say whatever they want, be in no spiritual community, be under no spiritual authority, never read their Bible, never be accountable to anything or anybody, practice divination and use tarot cards to try to get their ideal man. And they think that somehow that is justifiable by the Bible because they have a cross. Like I don't understand this version of Christianity, but it is nowhere to be found in the Bible. And like I said, anybody who has read the Bible longer than 2 seconds knows that fornication is condemned because it has a lot of negative implications. Let's just go back to a really basic reason why a woman hoeing around is very detrimental. First off, a woman who hoes around and has a lot of bodies finds it incredibly hard for her to pair bond. If she decides she ever wants to settle down and get married and have a husband, when she has had, let's say this woman has had 50 bodies, 50 soul ties, that's 50 emotional soul ties, that's sexual experiences that she's had with 50 different men. Now when she's sleeping with that one husband, with her husband, if she decides to even get married, because we know so few women are getting married partially for this reason. If she is able to get married, now she has all of those previous sexual experiences her husband has to battle with. This is why you have women having an incredibly hard time enjoying intimacy with their husband. Secondly, just in my own experience, women who have had a lot of bodies, I have found have a ton of psychological challenges. People like to sit here and act like, oh, it's completely normal for women to just sleep around and you can just have this carefree lifestyle and they're always happy and they're always, just in control of themselves. I think that's a lie. I think a few things happen. They get to a point where they just shut down and they become emotionally dead, and that creates another set of psychological problems, or they become totally and completely chaotic. But women that I personally know who have had a lot of bodies are incredibly, incredibly unstable. And the only thing that I've known that could change and settle down women who settle that behavior is a genuine encounter with God. Like he's the only one who could really change and stabilize a woman like that. But apart from that, a woman who is walking around with all these sexual experiences and potentially the genetic material of all these men still left in her body, because yes, there are theories out there that suggest that when women have sex with men, that there's an aspect of this genetic material that always remains in her body. If that's the case, and a woman has had sex with like 40, 50, 60 men, that's going to screw something up. Another reason this is just so destructive is because God didn't create women to be like this. God didn't create women to go and sleep around and hoe around and to use tarot cards and divination and manifestation books to try to control men. That is not the purpose for which we were created. And so even if it is popular and even if it gets a lot of traction and it seems like no big deal and you see sitcoms that promote it, doesn't make it right. We see women doing this, we see women promoting this lifestyle, and somehow they're supposedly happy and living their best life, but women are broke. We see the rate of single parent household is really high, likely because of this kind of toxic behavior. We understand women who have children out of wedlock dramatically increase their possibility of being broke, being impoverished, having financial struggles. And when your financial struggles are linked to all kind of challenges, including emotional and psychological and physical challenges. And so the natural byproduct of doing this whole hoeing thing is a woman having a kid out of wedlock, and that opening up a whole other set of issues. We have to ask ourselves if this kind of mindset is continuing to actually lead to the kind of poor results that the community has. I just wanted to cover this off real quick. We need to really start coming out against this nonsense and being like, y'all are just listening to the devil at this point. You're being deceived. Okay. And the reason we know that you're being deceived is because let's look at the results. Let's look at the results of what this kind of mindset is getting Black women. Black women are some of the poorest. Black women are some of the least married, and they are the most likely to have kids out of wedlock. And unfortunately, we know that kids out of wedlock are not like, oh, this is just a woman's choice. Maybe she chooses to have a baby by herself. Maybe that's her right. The overwhelming majority of women who have kids out of wedlock face poverty, face financial struggles, face economic, social struggles. The children themselves face challenges, and those children are overwhelmingly more likely to end up in jail, have psychological, social challenges, and just challenges of adapting to society, period. Case in point, there is a negative correlation between single mother-ran households and the success of children in a community. So y'all can sit here and act like this is empowerment all you want, but the results speak for itself, and the results are telling me this is not looking good and is not looking godly either. So I think we need to just start calling a spade a spade. This is a lie from the devil, and this is exactly why God himself says, please flee sexual immorality, because sin leads to death. This kind of bad lifestyle leads to death. It leads to the destruction of people, of women, of communities. And that is what we will continue to see happening if we see this nonsense promoted like it's something good. Anyways, y'all, that's what I got. What y'all think? You agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye.